Hello, and thank you for your interest in Epiphanie AI math tutoring. My name is Kevin Moore, and I'm the founder of Epiphanie. And this demo is for new students who want to start using Epiphanie. It shows you how to get registered and log into the system and enter basic problems and use the system to start doing your math homework. We also have several other demos and videos on our YouTube channel. I encourage you to check those out, as well as tutorials on the website that show how to do certain specific things. Some of the demos include subject-specific demos for specific math classes, anywhere from Algebra 1 through Calculus, and how to handle certain types of problems in the system. There are also some links in the comments section if you're looking for those resources. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And let's minimize this thing over here. And here you can see I've already opened up the Epiphanie site. I'm going to go ahead and register on the site. And I'm going to register as me, Kevin Moore. And let's make my username Kevin. Kevin Demo. And I'll enter a password. We do ask for your birthday because we need to have that for various regulations in different places. You know, to students under a certain age, there are some requirements for that. And you'll notice when you log in, you have certain assignments that are already there for you. Some sample assignments to practice, or perhaps some examples might be there as well. We're always adjusting these and changing them. This has a bunch of different examples here. We also have a number of resources here on the left. My assignments takes you to a list of your assignments. You can run reports on assignments you've already finished, information on your classes or textbooks. You can share this with your teacher or tutor, where they would be able to see information about your homework and what you've done, or you can print out assignments. I'll get to that in a little bit. There are also tools for teachers and places to manage your account or your profile. I'm going to log out here. And there's also the tutorials are over here on the right side, including a place for feedback for us if you're looking to share some feedback. I'm going to log out of this and log back in as Epiphanie Demo. And we're going to go ahead and create an assignment. I'm going to start off with my assignment. And there are a number of different types of problems. We'll talk about this in a little bit. Typically, at this point, equation is the type where we can give you feedback as you're going through solving an equation. There are other types of problems where we may not be able to provide advice for you, but you can still do them either within the system or as part of an overall homework assignment that you would turn in. And then the due date and description are really for your information. They're not really used for anything. They're there for informational purposes. So let's create this assignment. And I'm going to start off by creating a new problem. Let's make a basic math problem here. Number one, we'll call this 3x minus 1 equals x plus 9. And this is that place where we have problem types. For simplification, expanding, other types of problems. For now, most of those are entered as equations. See our follow-up videos on how to handle different types of problems in your specific class. It'll go into more detail on how to handle those. For problems where we can't provide advice, like word problems, graphing problems, there might be other things like they want you to draw a number line or other types of problems like geometric problems. There are other types of entries where we are not going to provide advice, but you can still enter the problems in the system. So those are available to you if you need them. Let's go ahead and begin as an equation. And I'm going to take the first step here. I'm going to subtract x from both sides. 2x minus 1 equals 9. And then I can either hit enter or I can click this button for next step. I'm just going to click that button here and it'll come back with some advice. Oh, there we are. It says I did a good job on that. I'm going to close out my debug messages, which I have on for development purposes. Next step, I'm going to subtract from both sides and I get 2x equals 8. Oops, wait a minute. I made a mistake there. And it's going to ask me some questions, sometimes, not all the time, about what I did. I'm going to say, oh, I subtracted 1 from both sides, and I simplified both sides. And, oh, I see what I did. I accidentally added 1 on the left. And I'll save this. This is now added as a comment on this problem. And if you have teachers added or tutors added to your system, they could also see the mistakes you've made, and they might add their own comments on these as well. If you have a question, I'm not sure what I did or what have you. Sometimes, in particular with more advanced problems, it's possible that Epiphany will get confused. Sometimes there will be extraneous solutions, and it will say, hey, those solutions are not the same. It doesn't look like the right step. You can always choose to continue anyway, and you can say, hey, I think I did the right thing, or I'm not sure, but I just want to keep going because I want to get this done. That's an option for you here, as long as entering text steps that are intended as part of the description of what you did, or plugging in or substituting. Let's say someone wanted to find out if f of x equals x squared plus 3x, what is f of 6? You could use that as a way of plugging in for x in that problem. So we're going to hit enter a new solution, and I'm actually going to copy and paste here. This button here allows me to copy from that line, and I can paste right here with this button. And I'm going to change that 8 to a 10. Click next step, and now it's right. And I can keep going from there. X equals 5. And I'm done. I can click this drop down here and say that I'm done with that problem. And now I can see the entire list of steps and how I went about this problem. And you can see comments here, either comments I've added or comments from teachers, or add comments on various steps. And we can take it from there. Let's go on to a new problem. We're going to look at problem number 2. And this time I'm going to enter a new equation. This one's a quadratic equation. And I'm going to start off by factoring this. Oops, I accidentally hit enter again and it didn't do something. Oh, I didn't. X minus 4, x minus 1 equals 0. I got to say the entire equation. Next step. There we go. That's correct. And now I want to enter 2 solutions here. I can either enter this as x equals 1 or 4, and it will mark that as correct. Or I can enter it as x equals and use braces 1 comma 4 and use that as my final answer. And I'll go ahead and mark this as done and move on to the next problem. This next problem I want to do is going to involve exponents. I want to say that 2 to the x plus 3. Oh, wait a minute. When I hit plus, it's no longer in the exponent. Well, we did that intentionally. There are a certain number of characters that if you're in an exponent, usually it indicates that you want to go on to the next step in the equation. Like, for example, equals will not be in the exponent. It will automatically come out of that exponent. If you do find that you want to make a plus sign in the exponent or a minus sign, you can just put that here. Times is allowed in the exponent, but or does not automatically jump out of the exponent. So I'm going to say 2x plus 3, 2 to the x plus 3 equals 32. Let's start that problem. And I'm going to take another step. Let's copy and paste this here. I'm going to copy and paste. And I'm going to change 32 to 2 to the 5th power. And for that, I'm using a caret to make the exponent. I could also use this GUI. Here I have exponents here. I also have a variety of typical functions here that are available. And I have a list of other functions. Here are nth roots, plus or minus symbols, subscripts. We have trigonometric functions, calculus functions. If there's a problem with no solution, you can enter the null set for no solution, or you can enter empty braces, and then some other symbols that might be useful. We also support Greek letters. This is all in a math language called LaTeX. The shortcuts in LaTeX are all valid for this, so you can use those shortcuts if you want to. And the caret symbol gives you an exponent here. So I'm going to do hit the next step here. And now I'm going to enter a text comment here. I'm going to mark this as text. I'm going to type. I'm going to set the exponents equal to each other as my next step. And I'm going to go to options here. I can plug in or substitute. I can also enter a text step that's not going to be reviewed by Epiphany, but it allows my teacher to see, hey, this is the step without actually going in and looking at the comments. This would actually be part of the printout if you printed out the assignment. And my next step is x plus 3 equals 5. Now it's going to check this against that previous step. That's correct. X equals 2, and I'm done. Mark this as done. One more thing I want to point out here, and hopefully this works as expected. I'm going to enter a new problem here. Implicit multiplication doesn't always work as expected. So let's say I have y equals x times x plus 3, and I want to simplify this. I'm going to re-enter this as x, y equals x times x plus 3 without the multiplication symbol. And I believe this is going to get confused. Yes, it thinks that's wrong. And the reason is that it can't quite tell whether we want this to be a function or not. You want to explicitly list the multiplication when you do these problems if there's exponents involved. So you don't have to do it if it was a 2, but if there's a variable, x times x plus 3 will give you the, will allow it to be marked as correct. And then I can just say y equals x squared plus 3x. Oops, that should be squared. And there we go. So I'll mark this one as done as well. Okay, I think we've covered most of the capabilities here. Let's go back to some of the assignment options. I'm going to go back to this assignment, and I could print this out if I want to. I now have a list of all the problems in the assignment. It's going to come up here in just a minute, along with some information for the teacher. If you've included the teacher in your, actually, let's go to that first. Should be coming up in a minute. You can add a teacher in your learning community. Like, for example, I've added myself here as an example as a teacher and a tutor. Enter their information here in their email, and you can add them so that they would see your assignments and be able to add comments to it. You have to specifically invite them before they can see your assignments. Nobody can see your assignments unless you invite them with their email address. That's the only way that you could do that. They can't seek you out here, and you can't seek them out within Epiphany. You've got to share it through their email address. Let's go back to this assignment. What happened here? There we go. There is the assignment, and you can see all the steps, including the mistakes, show up here. Oh, and there is one more feature I wanted to show you. Let's say I wanted to, I had a problem and I want to review it later. I want to remember it for review for my test or review for final exams later. I'm going to go back and review this problem. It's like, let's say I wanted to mark this for later review. I can add a tag and say, I'm going to mark this for final review. And I'll save that tag. And I'm also going to try this again. I want to give it another shot. It'll mark it as try number 2. I can make little changes to it if I want to. And I'll begin, and I'm going to show you some things about the mobile and tablet view. So here's the mobile view, and actually, you'll notice this is mobile view, this is tablet view. We had a couple of issues here that I have fixed, so I'm going to switch to another window that shows our sandbox site, where we test out new capabilities. And here it is, a problem in our sandbox. Let's see if this is, I'm going to hide this for a minute. Am I currently logged in? I might have been logged out already. Okay, so here we are. We have, I'm going to show the handwriting window. I can enter just with handwriting on my tablet or on my smartphone by using this as a text window. My next step was supposed to be 2x equals 10. And there it is. It caught it even though my 10 is not very good. And I'm going to convert this. And right now I have to hide this and hit the enter button. But in the future, it'll just automatically turn that step in and you can see the next step. And now my next step is x equals 5. Did it get that? It got that. And we'll convert that. Hide this and Stand by a minute, it's going. And we're working on this part where it is always showing this window when I want to sometimes hide it. And we're done now, so I can mark this as done. So there is a handwriting capability along with this. Your teacher can comment on various steps as you go about the problems. Let's go back to this main window on the main Epiphany site. We showed you the way to print it out and turn it in. I did want to show you one more thing about that. Here's the assignment. There are a couple of QR codes here. This one at the bottom shows teachers about Epiphany that, hey, we're not doing your homework for you. This is actually something that is a resource for both of you. And then this up here is a link to your specific assignment. They would only be able to use that link if they have actually gotten your permission to see your assignment. And if so, this would allow them to open up Epiphany and see that work. And then run reports, and they could look at the problems where you have mistakes or ones that have particular issues that you wanted to review. If you have any questions about how to use Epiphany, the site feedback over here allows you to send us questions. And by the way, for all of our students at this point, if you send us a problem set you have, we're happy to enter the problems into Epiphany for you in case you have trouble with it. And we'll get that over to you so you can work on it without having to enter these problems yourself. So please send those to support@epiphany.com, and we'll try and get those in as fast as we can. The sooner you can get them to us, the faster we can get them back to you. And thank you again for your interest in Epiphany. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@epiphany.com. Thank you.